with some of the people that you describe, like the cults, right? I wonder, do the leaders believe their own bullshit, or they like, look, I got this, this pack of suckers here. I'm just going to keep playing the role. They're helping my bank account. They're helping my credit score, because one of the things that I noticed, that the obvious thing is, look, if you believe that you have, like, these special powers, or that you've unlocked the secret of being able to, uh, you know, rip a guy's dick off with your hips, oh yeah, that might be going too far. But
nah, man, I want to learn the skill. You let me.
Kegels, man. You need to do the Kegel exercise.
Oh my God.
You can test yourself against people who are trained, who know what they're doing. The amount of people that I've seen, like, whether they're like Aikido guys or something like that, which is like, can't take me down, I just won't be there. And it's like, well, dude, just go to the local jiu-jitsu school when they're, doing the drills for takedowns, and see how you fare. Or go to that local high school and see how you do against high school wrestlers, And it's such a weird thing, where making these statements without ever doing the experiment. And I'm like, are they nuts? Or I don't know, do they believe their own hype?
It's kind of like, I've seen both, to be honest. And I've seen like weird things where, I've been doing this shit for a long time now. So it's like odd when I stumble across new shit, but like, it usually falls into two categories, right? You have the con man who knows he's a con man, like James Heydrich, for instance. James Heydrich was a guy who convinced thousands of people that he had psychic powers and that he was a kung fu expert. And he ran a cult, like a straight up cult. And that was his martial arts studio. And he convinced them that they had psychic powers and that they were learning. And he like had a whole system to teach people how to have these powers. And they all believed it because he was able to suggest that they believe it. This was a dude who was uneducated, didn't finish high school. I don't even know if he finished middle school, like didn't have a family home. And he was able to fool people with fucking degrees, like crazy to me. But James Heydrich, rest in peace, or not James Heydrich, James Randi, rest in peace. That dude is the OG of calling out bullshit. Like, I look up to that dude for a lot of shit. Like, that dude really was out try to help people genuinely. And he called him out on his show. He was like, all right, well, you're this kung fu master expert who knows how to do shit with his mind. Do it. And he called him out. And then, of course, after that, James Heydrich winds up getting busted for molesting 5 children, because that's, for some reason, is a big deal in the martial arts. Like over 450 cases of pedophilia in the martial arts since like 1987. It's astronomical how many instructors take advantage of kids. But he goes on the run after getting busted. And then, while on the run, books himself for the Sally Jesse Raphael show, like a moron. And then Sally Jesse Raphael's team is like, okay, well, we'd like to have you on. They start researching, find out this dude's like being looked for. He's a wanted man. So he shows up, police show up, they bust him. And he's in a mental institution only an hour away. We're going to film our documentary. So we're going to interview him. But the funny thing about that is that he did an interview not too long after getting busted, while he was like in between jail and getting tried. And he admitted 100% that he knew no martial arts. All martial arts that he ever learned was off of movies. He would just watch movies and recreate it. He admitted that he was a con man. He admitted to fooling people. And he wasn't even like what we would consider an educated man. So he was one of those people that purposely was out to con people. He knew he was conning people. He did it on purpose. He practiced conning people, and he got really good at it on a national, international level. I mean, this dude was known around the world at that time in the 80s. He was that guy who could do that thing, But then you have people like, we'll just say it's like the Steven Seagal syndrome. You got people like George Dillman. So, and for anyone who doesn't know, George Dillman is like the guy for like no touch knockouts. He's the guy that has pushed that agenda for a very long time that's possible. It's all horseshit. It's not true. You can't do it. But I think, based off of his resume, that he started off as a legitimate martial artist. He started off like actually competing at a high level. He was around the country competing in tournaments. And then eventually, I think that people just started kissing his ass. And when they started kissing his ass, I think he started believing some of these things. And then he started being able to tell lies that he truly believed in. And so I don't think that he really believes that he's a con man. Like, in my heart, I don't think that he truly believes that. I think that he's sick. The same thing with Frank Dukes. I don't think that Frank Dukes believes that he's a con man. I think that he's lied to himself for so long that he has mentally changed how he thinks.